Tokite. Right. That's the name that's a Salish Native American, or they're Native American, right? They're considered.
Salish, yeah.
Yeah, that's their name for her, which, do you remember what it means?
Yeah, nice day, pretty colors.
Okay, yeah.
What was it?
Nice day, pretty colors.
Okay, thank you.
But, so yeah, Sequarium, you think that's what
It's funny the history behind the name Lolita, too, with the film.
Oh, the film Lolita?
Yeah.
Yeah, and the fact that she was the youngest female ever captured, underage, and yeah. And they put her in a tank with a guy named Hugo, and they thought it was going to be this big Romeo and Juliet thing that they were going to mate, and they'd make little Sequarium babies.
There was a rumor that Lolita was pregnant at a stillbirth, too. That was in the
Oh,
press,
really?
wasn't it?
Yeah, I don't think I'd ever heard that. I mean,
something about it. I remember how.
I mean, that couldn't be possible without Hugo. I mean, he's been gone
Right.
for 30 years.
That was when he was around.
Yeah, Hugo died of brain damage or brain aneurysm or something. He was smashing his head into the tank so much. We don't know if it was self-inflicted or accidental, but it wasn't pretty.
Yeah, Lolita was they were watching that, too.
Yeah, they were the same tank.
Yeah, the domestication of all wildlife, for different reasons, like zoos, major zoos. You see, I saw polar bears. It was very depressing in the San Diego Zoo. They look skinny because they're not getting the native diet. They're eating, lettuce and carrots, which is not, they're not supposed to be eating that. Is it inhumane? And is there? I guess that's an obvious thing. It is inhumane.
Yeah.
But the question is there a more humane? Is there a humane way, such as some zoos claim to, zoologists?
I mean, is there such thing as a humane captivity?
Of wildlife, endangered wildlife, since it's dying off, like polar bears or these animals.
I mean, that's a really sticky wicket. I mean,
Is there anything?
there are zoos that are more humane than other zoos.
Yes.
But does that mean that they are, on an ethical par with what the human species should be? I don't think so. I don't think there's any reason whatsoever for captivity. Even the zoo industry has finally abandoned their claims that they are protecting these animals so they can someday reintroduce them into the wild once they're extinct in the wild. They've been claiming that for tigers forever, and they finally stopped those claims because they know it'll never happen. There is no place for tigers, and you cannot release captive-born tigers into the wild. It just doesn't work. Captive-born orcas, no. They've done, San Diego Zoo, the Bronx Zoo, I think, released frogs. They reintroduced frogs, which was cool. If they can do that with amphibians and frogs, that's great. Big mammals, polar bears, I just think it's completely unethical. And, there's always this claim, how are my kids ever going to appreciate animals if they can't see them in the zoos? Or the circuses, God forbid the circuses even. But I'll tell you, I didn't have to see animals in zoos to appreciate them. I used to read National Geographic, and now we've got, 4K TV, where you can actually appreciate wildlife without going to a zoo and seeing them behind bars, So ethical captivity, you'll get different responses from different people. Humane Society will say, yes, there is ethical captivity, and there's a reason for it. I say 95% of the time, it's useless, and it teaches kids the wrong thing. It teaches kids that it's okay to put them behind bars and to dominate these animals, and that stereotypic behavior. You guys familiar with the word stereotypic? It's what captive wildlife does when you put them behind bars or in a tank, and they just sway back and forth. Monkeys will do backflips all day long. It's the same thing that people do when they're institutionalized in the psych wards, or even convicts, prisoners in jail will just pace in front of the bars all day long. So that's a captive wild animal you're putting behind bars. So it's the same thing. So if you go to any zoo, you'll see maybe not all, but most of the animals probably displaying stereotypic behavior. Do you want to add to that?
Yeah, I guess when I saw Lolita, actually, when I filmed her at the Miami Aquarium, I saw a lot of those same things where she was just logging to the surface.
Yeah.
And logging is basically where they're just floating at the surface, basically doing nothing.
I sat with her one night and just watched her doing laps all night long for hours and hours until she was exhausted and just kind of fell asleep in the water. It was awful.
What do you think would be the most influential things that we can do to stop it?
I think just spreading the word, you know, even just conversations. You know, that's really the best way. And like Rick said, you know, you don't buy a ticket. You know, don't encourage your kids to buy tickets. You know, it's funny, kids, like this one right here, they get it. Kids get it. It's the parents that have to be convinced, usually by the children. You know, most kids that see these movies, this movie or my other film, How I Became an Elephant, they're spot on. They're like, that is wrong. I get it. And then mom's like, well, you know, there is this thing, you know, there's ethical captivity, and we got to keep them in jail for this and this. And the kids are like, no, that's wrong. So the kids always get it. So I must say that they're my hope, you know. And if we can continue to communicate openly with the kids and not hide it from them, that was one of the biggest problems we've had with like circuses. You know, the parents are just looking for a way to entertain their kids for the weekend, which is, you know, that's valid, of course. And the circus is cheap. Ring Brothers is cheap. Cirque du Soleil is not cheap, unfortunately. So you have these parents, you know, taking their kids to the circus. They don't really think about what might be ethical or unethical. We weren't taught to think like that. So naturally, most parents don't really think, oh my God, there's elephants, you know, doing tricks and tigers jumping through hoops. But almost all the kids come out. You know, and that was weird. Tigers aren't supposed to jump through fire, you know. And then usually mom or dad says, oh, it's okay, you know. So we gotta kind of change that. And we gotta work with the kids more, encourage the kids that they're right. You know, when they believe that stuff, they're right. Go with your gut.
Oh, have you ever heard about the orchid flippers will flop down when they're kept in captivity, but it doesn't happen in nature?
I've heard that, and I don't know if it's 100% documented. I mean, Zach might even be able to answer that question better. I have seen because male orcas have that very tall dorsal fin. And you would think that, yes, they're swimming around in a circle all day long, you know, whether it's clockwise or counterclockwise, different whales have their habits, right? So you would think that, yeah, that cartilage would eventually get soft and just kind of flop over. So we've seen it in captivity, but I think there's been some documented cases of wild male orcas also with that floppy dorsal fin. So it could be a genetic thing, could be a combination of genetics or nutrition and captivity. I don't know, you may have more information on that.
Yeah, there's one population in the wild I know of off the coast of New Zealand. There's this one researcher, Ingrid Visser, you can look her up, and she talks about the whole dorsal fin collapsing thing. But basically, as he was saying, the muscle or cartilage that supports the dorsal fin, it's strengthened by them swimming through the water in the wild, in the water column, which like strengthens its muscles. And so in captivity, those muscles weaken and causes the dorsal fin to collapse in more, I guess, more of a frequent occurrence. And it's not like a sign of them like actually being hurt or anything. It's just like a sign showing that like they don't have enough space and that sort of thing. It's just like a precursor sort of thing that they're not in a healthy environment.
It's a byproduct of repetition and possibly bad diet, you know. They're just, it shows that they're not in 100% health. And it could be more or less the older animals too. And males do much worse in captivity than the females. They deteriorate a lot faster and they're a lot more aggressive, so they have more problems in captivity.
You feel like that?
So now that we're watching this in 2017, like what are the huge hurdles still stopping Lolita from being released? Like it seems like we have this momentum and more people know about, you know, like this industry, so it's like why is there still, like why is she still there? Like what's the main like policy or whatever?
That's a good question. And it's been a roller coaster. It's gone up and down, and there's been a lot of new news lately, especially since Blackfish and China. We should talk about China in a few minutes as well because they've become a big player in the orca industry. But the thing stopping Lolita's release or retirement or rescue or whatever you really want to call it is the fact that she is property. She's chattel. And she is legally owned by the Miami Sea Aquarium. So no one can actually force them to let her go or retire her or do the right thing. The campaign to free Lolita was probably a bad name. It probably should have been reframed earlier because what happened when the Free Lolita campaign started, the Miami Sea Aquarium, backed by SeaWorld at the time, jumped right out and said, you cannot just free a captive animal, which we just discussed. You really can't. So the Free Lolita campaign really should have been relabeled to Retire Lolita or Rescue Lolita, because you can't deny that she could be retired or rescued, but to just pick her up and throw her back in the ocean and, you know, quote unquote free her was kind of a bad decision on whoever started that campaign. It sounded good at first, but the Green Parks just jumped right in and said, no, you can't just free these animals. But to get back to your question, she's chattel. And even though Seaquarium is questionably breaking certain laws, they still own her, and they can really do with her what they will.
So can the state not like crack down on them, or like at least have her facility like made bigger, or like anything, if they're not gonna like retire her, and they like make sure like her thing is up to code, or you know?
Yeah, they were supposed to.
There's a lot of court cases.
Yeah, you know, PETA's been to court with them. Not Animal Defenders, what's the legal?
Animal Defense League?
Animal Defense League went to court for that. I actually had filmed the construction of her new tank years ago, and that was probably 2004. They were building a new tank or a new facility, and they were saying it was for Lolita. It ended up being for their new dolphin swim program. So they were telling the world, we're building a new tank, like the woman said on the screen. She said, yeah, we're building a new tank, it's in the process, blah, 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 blah. When they finished it, they filled it with dolphins, and they opened it up for the dolphin swim program. And nobody said anything. Nobody cared, because people wanted to swim with dolphins. And that's actually the new business now. So Lolita has become a bit of a liability, which to me doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Because, you know, we approached Arthur Hertz and his son Andrew and said, look, we will finance the film. Let's retire her to Puget Sound to a sea pen like we did with Keiko. And we'll film it, we'll make an IMAX film, and you can actually have the film and play it at the park and show that you've done something good. You've released this animal. And he would have nothing to do with it. Meanwhile, they're building this big dolphin swim empire where you can pay $100 to $250 to swim with a dolphin. If it's called dolphin-assisted therapy, you'll pay up to $1,000 to swim with a dolphin. So that's the big business now. So Lolita's kind of become the back stick. She's the small attraction, and the big attraction is now to go and have these dolphin encounters, which are popping up all over, especially all over Florida.
They haven't even posted about Lolita on their Facebook page in like over a year. There's
No.
been nothing about her on their
No, she's not on their posters anymore. She's not the poster child anymore because people have come to the conclusion that it's just not right. We just haven't figured that out. That the dolphins, it's the same issue. They're just smaller. You know? We'll come back to your next one. Yeah.
So on that, no, we discussed it. I'm sorry, just come back to me.
Okay. Raise your hand. Yeah. Anybody else?
So with the money that we're not buying tickets with, are there any good organizations or basically different things to get involved with or to donate to help Lolita or other like captive animals?
Well, I would say for Lolita, what I would do is spend whatever time and energy and money into education. Local education, whether it's elementary school, middle school, even college, education is really the key. There's a lot of small groups doing that. I mean, I've known Howie at Orca Network forever. They do pretty good work. There's a great organization in Florida called Animal Hero Kids. Fantastic, Susan Hargreaves?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's fantastic. She's an educator. She goes all over Florida educating kids. She's still in Florida? She moved.
I think she's still in Florida.
Okay. Look up animalherokids.org, I think. That's a good one. But I would say, I always try and put my money into the grassroots. I stopped giving to the Humane Society a long time ago when I learned some things about them that I wasn't real happy with and had some meetings with them that went south. So I would say, you know, the humane societies and the PETAs, and they do good work, but they've got enough money to get by. These local grassroots folks are the ones who need the support. You know, your school chapters and small educational organizations. You know, that's who I would give my money to or get behind. There might be someone local that I don't know about. Zach?
Like here locally?
Yeah.
I'm not sure of any, like, do you know any local organizations, Amy?
I don't know.
Yeah. I'm not sure. That's something we can.
There's a great organization that I just filmed with 2 days ago called PAWS, Performing Animal Welfare Society. They are the reason that Ringling Brothers is now phased out their elephants. They're also the reason that Ringling's Brothers couldn't come to California anymore because of the bullhook ban. That was all the Performing Animal Welfare Society. And they have a sanctuary about 7 hours south of here. I just did some filming at. They're fantastic. I would say PAWS is great, and they need money. They've got, the nice thing about PAWS, and they are not only a sanctuary, but they're campaigners. So they actually use the sanctuary, the funds they raise for the animals in the sanctuary, and all their animals in the sanctuary are rescued from circuses or zoos primarily. So they have one bear that was, quote unquote, rescued from the wild, but that's a whole different story. They're a really nice sanctuary, and the money that they raise through the sanctuary they use to campaign politically against things like animals used in circuses. Like I said, they're the reason that elephants are now off the stage at Ringling Brothers. So PAWS, and there was another one. Oh, ADI, Animal Defenders International. They're very much campaigners against animals, captive performing animals. They're doing a lot of work in South America right now. In fact, they've gotten, I think they've rescued almost all the lions in captivity in South America now. Close to all of them from the circus lions. South America is, believe it or not, more progressive than the United States. And they've been easier to work with. So ADI's been down there for years, and they're shutting down circus after circus after circus, which is fantastic. And a lot of the rescued animals are ending up in the sanctuaries here in California. So that's ADI, PAWS, and Orca Network, and then what was the other one? Susan's Animal Hero Kids. Those are a few that I recommend. And then our organization is also a nonprofit. We make the films that support those organizations.
So if Lolita isn't the big money maker anymore, do you think that she could be more likely to be released now? Or retired? Or do you think there's just really no chance?